growing up in Jamaica, one of my favorite cartoons was actually Transformers. And as corny as it sounds, I was like, yes, that's what it is I want to do. I want to grow up and like create robots and do all sorts of things. But you know, that was always the usual, like you're a kid, you want to play with stuff. I found myself being automatically steered towards math and science, right? Because that's what it is that I found that I was good at. So it automatically developed itself into where it is that I am right now. I had this math teacher in high school, and he was an electrical engineer, and he implied, oh, hey, this is not something you can do. And I was like, oh, okay, challenge accepted. So I went on and actually went into electrical engineering without completely understanding exactly what it is that it was or what exactly it is that it entailed. I actually found myself working with, after I graduated, a small consulting firm that was specializing in construction engineering. So it was multidiscipline and everything along those lines. When I was there, I found out that I liked what I studied for, what I went to school for, but I really, really enjoyed construction engineering. Creating the designs and the drawings in AutoCAD, watching them become blueprints, watching them become construction drawings, that whole process, working with the owner to develop exactly what it is that they want, and then translating that to the contractor, the person that's going to develop it, and then seeing it being built brick by brick, little by little, going up, going down, working with the heating, ventilation, and cooling design engineers to make something fit into what it is that it's supposed to be. It wasn't until I got to university and we split off into our different streams that I was like, oh, there's like 5 of us here. There's like 5 women out of like a class of like 40, right? I didn't realize at that point that, hey, the amount of females that are in this industry is so small. It's so confined. In the actual industry itself, you find yourself having to, the first couple times it happens, right? You might think, all right, okay, that was like a one-off thing. That was odd. That was weird. And by it, I mean like any kind of negativity that comes as a result of your, like a gender bias, right? Because of who it is that you are. So oftentimes I show up on site or at a meeting and they're like, oh, you're the engineer? You're the one. Yep, I am SR. Those are my initials. Those are my drawings on paper right there. You find it is that you have to push that much harder. You have to demonstrate or prove somehow it is that you are knowledgeable in terms of the field it is that you work in. Whenever it is that we go to meetings, we find that we go in twos. So it'd be myself plus another manager, which is typically male, right? And I'd find that they'd be talking to the manager about my designs or my drawings, despite the fact that I am the engineer on the project. And I'm like, but I don't understand. Why are you talking to him about what it is that we or I had, my specifications or my designs, and I'm sitting right here. In some cases, you can find people that are very open, very receptive to you as a person in general, as opposed to you as a woman, right? You find that your credentials alone is enough for them to accept you as the engineer, as the designer, as the manager, or whoever it is. For the young ladies, for the women, for the ones that are coming up behind me, you have to kind of, I don't know, I kind of see it as, all right, kind of setting the pace for them. You can't run away from the boardroom meetings. You can't run away from the communication meetings. You can't run away from it, right? I find that if you shelter yourself from it and say, oh, this is difficult, this is hard, I don't want to have to do this, I shouldn't have to face this, then you won't learn how to deal with it. Life is already putting obstacles in your way. Why would you want to limit yourself because everyone else, or you already have forces at work that are trying to do that for you. Why are you making their lives easier? Why are you doing the work for them? If it is that you say, you know what, this is not my cup of tea, this is not something it is that I choose, right? This is not something that I'm drawn to, this is not my passion, this is not my purpose. Those are different ways of structuring or saying that you don't want to do something, as opposed to saying I don't want to do it because it's hard. No, I would never recommend, suggest, or tell any woman to do that. If it is that you're told that something's hard, listen to that person, but then do it anyway. You can stand there and be the voice against those naysayers and encourage other girls who are like you, who were like you, who are being told no, to be like, no, yes, we can. We have to be more open. I find that sometimes there might not be a lot of dialogue, so there might be a lot of stigmas that surround even just our community in general that we need to address. Otherwise, it's just going to get passed down as opposed to making it better or to improving it. Because sometimes some of the issues is that, like, you're completely blindsided. Like me, when I was leaving from university going into the workforce, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I'd have to go through this. If you're open and you're honest, then I find that maybe the girls that are deciding to go into these fields can make a more well-informed decision around it, and create an environment that won't be so unbearable.